Hey guys, I'm Chris. Welcome back to WallowaHikes. A while back I shared my top 10 favorite trails, but that's just from my perspective. And I realize there's lots of wonderful trails all over the United States. And I haven't been everywhere, not yet anyway. So I reached out to some of my favorite backpacking YouTubers to ask them one simple question. What's your favorite place to backpack in the US? Their answers might surprise you, and as you might expect, it was hard for a lot of them to choose just one. So today we're exploring some of the best backpacking spots across the United States, according to the experts. So let's get started. So let's start with Brad from As the Crow Flies Hiking. Now, Brad's one of the most down-to-earth people you're gonna see on YouTube. He's been all over the place, bringing a calm, thoughtful vibe to his videos, and he even writes and plays his own music, which is pretty cool. Now, when it comes to favorite trails, not surprisingly, his choice is the Peyote Trail. Now, the Peyote Trail is a long-distance route that covers about 350 miles in Alabama and Georgia, connecting with the southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail. The Peyote is known for rolling ridges, pine forests, and quiet backcountry sections. You don't get the same crowds as the Appalachian Trail, but you still get the same rugged beauty. It's a challenging trail in spots with long water carries and some serious climbs, but it rewards you with solitude and sweeping views of the southern Appalachians. And if you want a better look at that trail, go over to Brad's channel, As the Crow Flies Hiking. He recently completed a series of videos documenting his journey along the Alabama section of the Peyote Trail, so go check him out. All right, moving on to Everyday Backpacker. Now, Ghost Mule, the host of Everyday Backpacker, represents most of us, the weekend warriors who just like to get out backpacking whenever time allows. He's humble, kind, and lucky to live in Montana. And when I asked him his favorite, he didn't hesitate. The Absaroka-Beartooth Wilderness. Now, this area straddles Montana and Wyoming, and it's famous for its rugged alpine peaks, crystal clear lakes, and wide open skies. His favorite trails are the Sundance Pass and Beaten Path trails, which offer challenging climbs, but the reward is unforgettable mountain vistas. If you love solitude and high country hiking, this is a dream destination with relatively quiet trails, with 8 to 12 miles of rugged terrain and alpine lakes and sweeping ridges. Best time to go is in summer, as snow can linger pretty well into the late spring. Next up is Michael from I Suck at Hiking. And Michael lists Colorado as his favorite so far, even though he's hiked the entire Appalachian Trail. Apparently, he doesn't suck at hiking. Now, if you haven't seen his channel, you're in for a treat. Michael's a big buff dude covered in tattoos. He does jujitsu, and yet he's the most soft-spoken, humble guy you'll ever meet. This guy is filled with gratitude. And recently, he documented his trip along the Colorado Trail. Stretching over 500 miles from Denver to Durango, you'll cover mountain passes, lush forests, and sparkling streams. And while it's tough in sections, every strenuous climb is rewarded with an expansive, amazing view, and the breathtaking scenery makes it all worth it. And of course, you can hike shorter sections as well, anywhere from 10 to 50 miles, with points all along the trail where you can access. Summer through fall is ideal, but be aware that some sections may have snow well into June. And next up is Midwest Backpacker. Jeremy, known as Shaggy to his Midwest crew friends Miyagi and Rob Pelton, puts out mileage that blows my mind. He recently did the Tahoe Rim Trail stupid fast, like in a third of the time it would have taken me for sure. Jeremy told me that picking a favorite trail is like picking your favorite child. And apparently his favorite child is the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim hike. I have to agree. It is pretty awesome. Rim to rim to rim is 42 to 47 miles, depending on if you take the Bright Angel Trail or the South Kaibab Trail. And of course, there are extreme elevation changes, and the views never stop. Unlike other trails where you might hike for hours without a view, this route delivers jaw-dropping scenery nearly the entire way. Descending into the canyon and climbing back out challenges both your body and mind, but the color-changing cliffs, sweeping river views, and vast canyon walls make it an unforgettable experience. As he puts it, a lot of hikes, the views are sprinkled in, and sometimes you hike for hours with no views. In the Grand Canyon, it was a breathtaking view the whole time. Spring and fall are the best times to attempt this, to avoid the extreme heat down in the canyon. Now, feral Wudlum, or El Duque, is a fairly recent discovery for me, but he's one of the best creators out there. His production is top-notch. He's humble, he's funny, and he's just plain likable. So if you haven't seen him, go check out his channel. He says his favorite is the Pine Mountain Trail in Georgia. This is 23 miles of rolling hills and forested terrain. Rarely crowded, challenging, and a joy to hike. This trail is strenuous and not overcrowded at all, so it's perfect for hikers who want a challenge with some solitude. With rolling hills, dense forests, and an occasional stream crossing, it's a gem in the Southwest. He's even thru-hiked it without seeing another person the entire way. Perfect place to get away from it all. Spring and fall are ideal for cooler weather, and fall especially for the colors. And as a second choice, he lists the entire Georgia section of the Appalachian Trail. Next up is Top Shelf Backpacking. Top Shelf Backpacking is my go-to for meal reviews. The host spends hundreds of dollars on freeze-dried meals, so I don't have to. He also happens to live just a couple of hours north of me, near the Columbia River Gorge. And the Columbia River Gorge, on the border of Oregon and Washington, is a great starting point for all kinds of backpacking. He lists a couple for his go-tos. First up is the Deschutes River Trail, starting at the Columbia and winding its way towards central Oregon. Now, the terrain there, maybe not what you would expect from Oregon, but if you're ever in Oregon, you'll find that there's a little bit of something for everybody. He also lists Lake Wapiki, which is in Washington, but not far from the Columbia River, in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. This is in the region of Mount Adams, in a nice isolated spot. I definitely can see the appeal. Both of these areas are hikeable spring through fall. Moving on to Carl Mandrioli from the Backpacking and Blisters podcast. I actually discovered his podcast before I even knew that YouTube backpacking channels were a thing. He also happens to be one of only 2 people on this list that I've ever been backpacking with. Carl's a great guy with great values. And when I asked his favorite place, he did not hesitate. He recommends Yosemite National Park, and in particular, Yosemite's Red Peak Pass Loop. And depending on how you go, this loop is approximately 26 miles with 4,500 feet of elevation gain. Glacial lakes, granite peaks, and alpine meadows make this a classic Sierra Nevada adventure, and exemplifies why Yosemite is a bucket list destination for backpackers all over the world. Now, summer is ideal when it comes to snow, but expect crowds in the valley, especially in the summertime. This route has fewer crowds than a lot of the more popular destinations down there, but Carl is absolutely right, and Yosemite is one of the best destinations for backpackers in the United States. So, thank you, Carl. So let's stay in that backpacking and blisters family and move on to Crafton Adventures. If you're familiar with the Backpacking and Blisters podcast, you may know Mike as Tupperware Mike. And his wife is Jen, also known as Jen Deanna. Together, they are Crafton Adventures. And if you haven't seen them, go check out the channel. Mike does a lot of really, really great reviews. And he's one of the nicest people I know. These two are as genuine as it gets. They're kind, funny, and always bring a sense of joy to the trail. Jen's favorite spot is Russian Lake, in the Russian wilderness in California. Crystal clear waters surrounded by rugged granite peaks and lush forests. It's a place that feels truly remote and untouched. Mike, on the other hand, couldn't narrow it down quite so easily. Deadfall Lakes, Canyon Creek Lakes, and Morris Meadows, all in the same region of Northern California. These spots have everything: towering granite walls, turquoise lakes, and trails that challenge your endurance but reward you with solitude and beauty. But when pressed for his all-time favorite, he chose Ray Lakes, outside of Kings Canyon National Park. It's a classic Sierra loop, about 46 miles of pristine alpine terrain, glacier-covered lakes, and postcard views the entire way. Every trail they mention captures what I love about California backpacking: big climbs, alpine lakes, and a real sense of adventure. These two are the kind of people you want to meet at the trailhead: warm, down to earth, and full of stories. Thanks, guys. Next up is backpacking with Buckley. Now, Tim Buckley may be the nicest person I've ever met on YouTube. He's kind, welcoming, has a wonderful dry sense of humor. Tim's been everywhere, from the Badlands to Big Bend to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, and currently in Pennsylvania. But when asked about his favorite places, he loves the forests and lakes of northern Minnesota and Michigan. Backpackers love northern Minnesota and Michigan for their quiet, scenic trails. These areas are perfect for backpackers and paddlers alike, with tons of forests, lakes, and gentle hills. You can spend hours exploring without seeing anyone else, and the combination of water and forest give it a unique charm. If you enjoy peaceful, remote backpacking, this may be the place for you. Trails like the Superior Hiking Trail, which is over 300 miles long, and Pictured Rocks in Michigan offer moderate hiking along lakes and seashores, perfect for moderate hikes of 5 to 15 miles. Summer and early fall are best for weather and fewer bugs. Minnesota is definitely known for its mosquitoes. Now, the next voice in our roundup belongs to someone whose channel I really value for the wisdom and thoughtful approach to the trail, and that's Lost Again with Jim. His videos always seem to make us want to slow down and be present and remember the value of what we're doing out there. His favorite spots perfectly balance convenience, epic challenge, and solitude. Jim's first favorite is the Grouse Ridge Recreation Area. And his reasoning is something that most of us can really appreciate, and that's proximity to where he lives. Because it's so close to his home, it offers the perfect place to go for those unplanned and spontaneous trips. It's an absolutely beautiful area, crisscrossed with trails, meaning he can have a different adventure every time he goes out there. It's an ideal local escape. It's the kind of place where you go and just drop your pack, hike a little ways, and just be out under the stars without dedicating an entire week to a backpacking trip. Proof that some of the most restorative adventures are close to home. Next, Jim steps up in elevation and challenge, taking us to the massive peaks of the Eastern Sierras. This is where you go for wonder and awe and testing your skills. The scale here is immense. Think granite walls, deep canyons, and alpine lakes just above the tree line. Jim's drawn to the off-trail potential here with challenging route finding, which in itself is very rewarding. It's the kind of place where you can go with map and compass, challenge your skills, and see spectacular views that most people just dream of. It is immersion into true wilderness. Finally, Jim's last pick is a truly unique one, the Ruby Mountains of Nevada. This one speaks to his thoughtful nature as it combines structure and exploration. Jim loves the area because of the structured on-trail experience in an area that offers loads of off-trail exploration. He affectionately calls it a unique and fascinating environment. And he's right. Often called the Swiss Alps of Nevada, this glaciated area with pristine alpine lakes offers the spectacular views of the more famous ranges with a level of solitude and quiet that is becoming increasingly rare. And if not for Jim, I wouldn't even know that place existed. So I want to thank Jim for his thoughtful choices, from quick escapes to epic trails. You've given us a roadmap for every backpacking mood. Next up is Miyagi from Miyagi and Trips on the Trail. What can you say about Miyagi? He's a legend on YouTube. He's smart, charismatic, he knows his stuff. He's even made his own hot tent. His videos are top-notch productions, the kind of thing I would expect to see on television. He has a voice that's perfect for documentaries. His voiceovers are the best I've seen, and he's a legend in the backpacking YouTube world. So when I asked Miyagi his favorite place out of everywhere he's been, I paid attention to his answer. And his answer was Pictured Rocks for the win. And it's hard to argue with that. Those lakeshore views are next level. So it's no surprise that Pictured Rocks in Michigan is a favorite for both Tim Buckley and Miyagi. Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, 42-mile trail with cliffs, waterfalls, beaches, and forests, and sections 10 to 15 miles that are perfect for overnight trips. Summer and early fall are ideal. The highlight is hiking along cliffs overlooking Lake Superior with waterfalls, colorful rock formations, and sandy beaches all along the way. It's relatively easy terrain with fantastic views, which makes it a destination for photographers and nature lovers as well. And next up is Cam from the YouTube channel Hiking with Cam. Now, Cam is one of the first people I befriended on YouTube. He has a brilliant mind, engineering solutions to backpacking problems as he's section hiking the Appalachian Trail. Cam's favorite so far is the Rowan Highlands. 20 to 30 miles of the Appalachian Trail with open balds and wildflowers. Spring and summer are ideal for blooms, while fall offers absolutely brilliant colors. The trail is moderate, but does have some steep climbs, and is perfect for backpackers who want that East Coast experience without the crowds of the Southern Appalachians. So, looks like an absolutely beautiful place. Thanks, Cam. Moving on to Coach from Marion Outdoors. I love watching this guy. If you haven't been to Marion Outdoors, check it out. He doesn't really do long form anymore, but his shorts are really entertaining. I'd watch this guy talk about shoelaces. He also owns a gear shop, Marion Outdoors, right off the Appalachian Trail, so he has some experience. I also suspect he may be actually Billy Boyd, the actor who played Pippin in the Lord of the Rings movies. Coach highlighted 3 favorites. Triple Falls in North Carolina, a 2 to 3 mile day hike, Roan Mountain, 20 to 30 miles, which is the same choice that Cam had, and Grayson Highlands, Virginia, 20 to 25 miles with rocky outcrops and ponies. Triple Falls is a short day hike, which is perfect for an afternoon through some lush forests. Roan Mountain, 20 to 30 miles of ridge-lined hiking with expansive views. And the Grayson Highlands is a 20 to 25 mile loop, which features rocky outcrops, ponies, wild ponies, and incredible mountain scenery. Apparently, the East Coast has something for everyone. Next up, we have one of my absolute favorite channels, the one and only Jerry Arizona. If you haven't seen his work, seriously, go check it out. His editing is brilliant. His images are beautiful. His pacing, everything. I absolutely love this channel. Every time I see one of his videos, I want to lace up my boots and get out there. So I asked Jerry for his favorite destination for backpacking, and he hit me with 2 bucket list destinations that could not be more different. First up, he takes us all the way to the tropics, to the island of Kauai and the Kalalau Trail. This is the only official entry point to the stunning Nepali coast. This trail is pure, lush, tropical backpacking. You're hiking on the edge of towering, fluted sea cliffs, crossing streams, and passing through beautiful valleys. It is challenging, often muddy, and extremely beautiful. The trail is 11 miles one way, making it a 22-mile out and back. Most backpackers take 2 days to reach Kalalau Beach and camp there before heading back. Now, this is a highly sought after permit, and you can go to Jerry's channel to get a little insight into that. He'll be the first to tell you to plan way in advance and take the extreme danger of the water crossings very seriously. These can become impassable with heavy rains, and from time to time that trail is closed. And it's been on my bucket list for a while as well. Now for his second pick, we're doing a complete 180 and going to the American Southwest to the world famous Buckskin Gulch. This slot canyon is a geological masterpiece located in the Paria Canyon area, right on the border of Utah and Arizona. Buckskin Gulch is an immersion into a sandstone labyrinth. Buckskin is recognized as one of the longest and deepest continuous slot canyons in the world, twisting and turning for nearly 13 to 15 miles of unrelenting narrows. The towering walls can soar hundreds of feet above you, sometimes squeezing down to just a few feet wide. The most popular backpacking route through Buckskin Gulch and out the Paria River is around 21 miles and usually done over 2 days. Staying overnight does require a permit. And a trip like this does require you to pay attention to the weather. Flash floods are a real danger in slot canyons in the American Southwest. The slot canyon environment, which makes it so breathtaking, also means heavy rain from miles away can be deadly. If the forecast is bad, you simply do not go. And I can attest that the road to Buckskin Gulch, when it rains, is nearly impassable. So you're probably going to want a 4-wheel drive. If it hasn't rained and it's not wintertime, you can get there in a passenger car, but be aware that road is pretty rough. So a massive thank you to Jerry, Arizona for these 2 amazing and contrasting choices. Both are truly iconic. So here we are. Next up is the choice from another one of my favorites, Jon Conti. If you've ever watched any of his videos, you'll know his work is pure cinema. He doesn't just go backpacking, he films an epic. So where does a videographer go to pick his most beautiful shots? Jon goes to the Sawtooth Mountains of Idaho. Rugged and majestic, and not as crowded as places like the Tetons. His favorite is a 20-mile loop called the Alice Toxaway Loop. The route combines everything that makes the Sawtooths so appealing, starting with the majesty of Alice Lake, a climb over Snowy Side Pass, and finally dramatic views of Toxaway Lake. The miles are tough, but the payoff is worth every inch of it. And fortunately for those of us who haven't been there, we can follow along on his channel and understand why he calls it his favorite place on earth. Now let's talk about Rob Pelton. Rob's channel is one of the very first channels I watched that were related to backpacking. And he's probably influenced me more than anybody else out there. 10 years ago, he went to Nepal, followed the Manaslu circuit, and went backpacking in Nepal for 5 weeks. And that is how Rob got started backpacking. And then, a few years ago, he quit his job at FedEx and decided to live in a Subaru and travel all over the country, working for Leave No Trace. So he's seen a thing or two, which is probably why he couldn't give me a straight answer. What he did give me, which is to your benefit, is 2 lists. One for the East and one for the West. In the East, He loves Old Rag in the Shenandoah National Park, as well as the White Mountains in New England for day hikes. Old Rag, located in Virginia, is one of the most popular hikes in the Mid-Atlantic region. The most popular route is a 9-mile loop, and the defining feature is the rock scramble at the top with fantastic views. Permits are required March through November. The White Mountains, located primarily in New Hampshire, are also, as Rob said, a popular destination for day hikers. They include the Presidential Range and over 60 peaks over 4,000 feet. Summits are typically above the tree line, offering expansive views. Be aware that the Presidential Range in the White Mountains includes Mount Washington, which is famous for having some of the worst weather in the world. So come prepared, bring layers, and know that this is a huge area, so there's a variety of hikes for all fitness levels. And these include beautiful waterfalls and fantastic views, including places like Franconia Ridge and Mount Willard. As far as backpacking in the East, two of his favorites are Grayson Highlands, previously mentioned, and Dolly Sods. Dolly Sods does seem to be a destination for a lot of backpackers, so it makes sense that it would end up on the list. Dolly Sods, located in eastern West Virginia, is a very popular hiking spot for backpackers. It sits on a plateau at about 4,000 feet in elevation, giving it a unique ecosystem similar to eastern Canada, with great variety for hikers, including meadows, bogs, and forests. Dolly Sods has about 47 miles of hiking trails, which can sometimes be confusing, so definitely bring a map. GPS would be helpful. And be aware that during the rainy season, it can get really muddy out there. And yet, despite that, it continues to be a very popular spot. Dolly Sods offers diverse scenery and a unique backpacking experience. And out west, Rob lists the San Juan Mountains of Colorado as one of his favorite places to go backpacking. And of course, the Grand Canyon. The San Juan Mountains, located in southwest Colorado, offers some of the most rugged and spectacular views. The area is home to several of the 14ers, mountains over 14,000 feet, so you can imagine the views are pretty amazing. Most of the area is in the largest designated wilderness area of Colorado, and some of the trails connect with old mining towns, which gives it a unique appeal. Because of the high elevation in the San Juan Mountain area, backpackers should be prepared, as you may experience altitude sickness. And if you want to know more about that, I'll leave a link to a video specifically about altitude sickness. Water is abundant here, and it is bear country, although there are no grizzlies in this area. And the best backpacking season is usually mid-July through September. Check regulations for the specific area you want to visit for information on permits. So Rob's point, you don't need to choose just one. There are incredible trails everywhere, each with its unique challenges and character. It's definitely no surprise that we got a variety of answers. As for me, I live in Oregon, so it's got to be the Eagle Cap Wilderness. It's the place that I grew up. There are over 500 miles of hiking trails, and it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. And I honestly couldn't pick just one trail. From short overnight trips to week-long adventures, there's something for everybody up there. And summer is the best time, even though higher elevations can have snow even into August. So there you have it, the best backpacking destinations in the United States, according to the experts. So whether you're starting out or planning your next big adventure, these trails offer something for everyone. So if you've enjoyed this video, consider hitting that subscribe button and maybe leave a comment below. Which one of these destinations would you want to hike first? And do you have a favorite that didn't make it on the list? So as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.